This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews here again with another one of our ranking videos. Today we're doing another combination. We like to do these combos just to kind of have fun and just make these a little more complete. So this is kind of a weird combination. Ugly Kid Joe and Cinderella, but we had some fun with this one. So we have 11 albums, four from Cinderella, and I think it's like seven from Ugly Kid Joe, and I know two of them are EPs. So here again with Dragonfire, and I guess we can jump right into it if you're ready, and if you want, you can go into your number 11. So, you want? Let's go.
Yeah, awesome. Uh, yeah, I really enjoyed this week. It was a lot of fun listening, and yeah, because Ugly Kid Joe has a smaller discography, we decided to throw in Cinderella as well. Um, for my number 11, I'm gonna go with this one here, Uglier Than They Used to Be. Um, this one is definitely okay. For Ugly Kid Joe, this is after the band reformed and got back together. Um, I think that probably the best song on this one is Ace of Spades, but of course that's a cover of Motorhead.
Yeah.
And uh, the rest of this is just kind of okay, and it's there. Um, but I do think this is an underrated band. I'll talk more about that when I get into some of the albums I like better. But this is still a good listen. It's not bad at all. So that's my number 11 is Uglier Than They Used to Be by Ugly Kid Joe.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so my number 11 is going to be one from Cinderella, actually, and it's still climbing. It's the last one. This one came out in the mid 90s. I think it was like around 1995. I bought it when it came out on cassette. It was just one of those albums. I couldn't really get into it. I remember listening to it live. It's just, there wasn't really much here that really like stuck with me or memorable, even going back to listening to it again. There weren't any songs that really like I remember liking that much. Everything's like okay. So as for some of the songs, you had Bad Attitude Shuffle, kind of bluesy glam metal, All Comes Down, and Talk is Cheap. That's more glam metal. And then Hard to Find the Words, more acoustic rock. There's one song I liked, Blood from a Stone. It kind of gave me some Deep Purple vibes. I like that one. And Freewheelin', that's kind of one of their faster paced songs, kind of like a blues rock shuffle. And then Through the Rain was a ballad. So not a horrible album. It's just my least favorite out of all of these. So that's my number 11 here.
Okay. My number 10 is going to be another Ugly Kid Joe one with Rad Wings of Destiny. Um, this one, like all of their album titles, is a parody album title.
Yeah.
This one is of Judas Priest. Um, but yeah, this one again is okay. Nothing really stands out to it. Maybe Everything Changing might be my favorite song on the album, but it's still a fun listen, and uh, yeah, it's a fun listen. So but yeah, Rad Rings of Destiny is going to be my number 10.
All right, cool. So my number 10 is going to be my first Ugly Kid Joe pick. And I picked Menace to Sobriety. This one came out, I think it was like in the mid 90s, sometime around 94, around that time. I think it was just I remember when it came out, like I remember seeing the album cover. I didn't buy it back then. But uh Ugly Kid Joe, they have a sound that's kind of all over the place. Some fun songs. A song called God. It's like a glam metal, reminded me of the band Extreme. Tomorrow's World, kind of a weird song, kind of post punk. Clover, some maybe like almost like thrash metal, but kind of like lighter. Then there was like CUST, which gave me some like Red Hot Chili Pepper vibes. I heard a little bit. That on this album. Milkman's Son. That's probably my favorite on the album. It was like some southern rock. And 10 out of 10, maybe my second favorite. It's like southern rock and grunge, kind of reminded me of Soundgarden. So again, not a bad album at all, but it's just one of my least favorite of the Ugly Kid Joe albums. So yeah, that's my number 10, Menace to Sobriety.
Cool. That's actually my number 9.
All right, cool.
So, yeah. Um, this one to me is a big step up from from the first two of this ranking. It is it's really fun. I have fun with this album. Um, this one, of course, is Menace to Sobriety is uh what was it? Menace to Society, I believe,
Yeah.
was the NWA album. Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I uh, I enjoy this one a lot. 10 out of 10 is a good song, although I can't listen to it too much or I'll get depressed. but, but 10 out of 10 die. I enjoy a lot. Yeah, Milkman's Son, Jesus Rode a Harley. There's just a lot of good stuff on this that I enjoyed this album quite a bit, and it's my number 9. Weird album cover, even weirder back cover. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I enjoyed this one. So that's my number 9.
All right, nice. Okay, my number 9 is going to be Motel California. This one I think came out like a year after. I think it came out in 96. Again, it's one of those albums that's kind of like all over the place, but there's some pretty fun songs. We had It's a Lie with the cool thrashy riffs, the dialogues for punk rock, grunge, Sandwich, there's like a rap thrash, just pretty fun. Rage Against the Answering Machine, that's a fun song title. I like that. Would You Like to Be There? It kind of like sounds like Foo Fighters, that type of thing. Little Red, Little Red Man. This one features Lemmy. I thought it was a weird song, maybe like a sludge metal. And Undertow was like acoustic alternative rock. Kind of reminded me of like Bush, Candlebox, those like mid '90s alternative bands, and Shine. A weird song, but it was okay. So it's kind of like an album that's like all over the place, but has some good stuff. So that's my number 9, Motel California.
Okay, cool. All right. Um, I'm on my number 8. I'm going
Yeah.
with Long Cold Winter by Cinderella. And yeah.
Cool.
Um, I I like this album a lot. The One of the biggest things that holds this back for me actually would be actually the title track, Long Cold Winter itself. I don't really like that song. For me, it just goes into a weird bluesy place that too much blues and not enough rock, I guess maybe is the way I'll describe it. But
Yeah.
other than that, this is a really fun album. I love Coming Home. Fire and Ice is pretty good, and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone is an all-time banger. So is Gypsy Road. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff on this album. Um, just not quite as good for me as some of the albums that are above it. But really enjoyable album. I think this is actually the first Cinderella album that I ever listened to. So I heard this one before hearing the debut, but yeah, this is a really cool album. I enjoyed a lot. So
All right, nice. Okay, so where am I? Well, I'm at my number 8.
yeah,
So my number 8 is going to be Uglier Than It Used to Be. This is with the Ugly Kid Joe comeback album. I think it came out in 2018. I thought it was pretty cool. It has some, again, it's kind of like all over the place. That this band maybe a little less experimental, a little more alternative, more rock, but we have Hailing Hard to Find. That again, that reminded me of like Foo Fighters, Let the Record Play. That's that classic heavy metal, a Bad Seed. That reminded me of like '90s Metallica, and I think Metallica even has a song title at the same time. Mirror of the Man, it's like '90s alternative, maybe like Alice in Chains, She's Already Gone, or maybe like alternative rock. My Old Man, it's kind of like a Nirvana song. And then there were two cover songs, Ace of Spades and Papa Was Rolling Stone. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent comeback album. So yeah, that's my number eight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My number 7 is gonna be "Still Climbing" by Cinderella. Um, this one has some great bangers. "Easy Come, Easy Go" is awesome. "Hot and Bothered," I believe that's the one that was on the soundtrack. Was it Wayne's World 1 or Wayne's World 2? "Hot and Bothered" was on
Oh, could be.
soundtrack for one of those movies. Um, and, yeah, this is a really good album all around. This is actually the newest album. I actually just got this one in the mail. I had ordered it, and I just got it in the mail this week. Um,
Oh, cool.
and it's the album I've spent the least amount of time with, but I really enjoy it. Um, yeah, it's super enjoyable. I kind of, yeah, I just for whatever reason I had never listened to the final album. Maybe because I believe it came out in '94. Yeah, I believe it's '94. So like, um, for those first 3 albums I got into, and then this one, I just hadn't gotten around to listening to it yet. So, but I enjoy it. So, yeah, what did we say? That's my number 7. Yeah, "Still
Yeah.
Climbing" by Cinderella. So,
Okay. So my number seven is going to be Stairway to Hell. That's the second EP by Ugly Kid Joe. It's I mean it's pretty long album actually. It's an EP. It's like 33 minutes so, but it has some pretty cool. It's a fun song. It's a fun album. Devil's Paradise, like heavy metal. That's pretty like that's like a heavy song. You Make Me Sick. It's more cool, grungy alternative. No One Survives. That's like acoustic grunge, like Alice in Chains or Days of the New. It's all right, more like an upbeat hard rock song. Loving True. That's kind of like a throwback to the glam metal. Another Beer. That's like a country song, which they kind of do that a lot on the album after that as well. And I know they have a few acoustic songs like Cats in the Cradle. They re-recorded that, and there were two other acoustic songs. But yeah, yeah, not a bad EP. Has some pretty cool songs. So that's my number seven. Yeah.
okay, cool. Um, my number 6 is gonna be "Motel California" by Ugly Kid Joe. Uh, this was, I believe, the last one of their original run before the band broke up and would eventually get back together.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, yeah, I absolutely love "Sandwich." It's such a it's such a
It's a fun
crazy
song.
song. It's a crazy song, but I love it. Rage Against the Answering Machine, of course, is playing on Rage Against the Machine, the band. Um, Would You Like to Be There is a little melodic song, pretty good. Yeah, this whole album is really fun. Like you said, there's a lot of variety with Ugly Kid Joe, so you don't know what you're gonna get, but some good rock and stuff. And I enjoy this album a lot. But yeah, Motel California instead of Hotel California. Yeah, that's gonna be my number 6.
All right, cool. All right, so my number six is going to be the newest Ugly Kid Joe, Rad Wings of Destiny, and this is the only album that I, or one of the only albums from Ugly Kid Joe that I knew and I listened to when it came out because it came out in 2021, and I remember my channel was active and I was doing album reviews. I reviewed this on my channel when it came out. This one has a lot of like AC/DC vibes on a few of the songs. I think there's actually three songs that have like an AC/DC sound. That was called That Ain't Living, Dead Friends Play, and Failure was probably the most AC/DC sounding song. There's some country on here, like Everything's Changing and Drinking and Driving. That's kind of a fun song. There's a cover of Lola. That's the Kinks song. Another acoustic song, Kill the Pain. And not like the other, that's like 70s glam rock, a little different thing for them. So again, it's a fun later day album. This is the last album they ever put out. I mean, who knows if they'll ever do another one. Maybe they'll do one again someday, but it's already been about like 5 years old. So anyway, that's my number six.
Okay. Okay, time to enter the top five. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna go with Stairway to Hell as my number five. This one is really fun. Now, I do have a special edition that's got a few bonus tracks, but just judging it based on the off the original EP, um,
Mm.
uh, "You Make Me Sick" is a really good song. "I'm Alright," "Love Ain't True," Another Beer is probably my favorite on this one. Um, and this one, it's like, of course, the name is a combination, I think, of Led Zeppelin's "Stairway to Heaven" and AC/DC's "Highway to Hell."
Yeah.
Um, but um, they have the AC/DC stuff on the
Oh, cool.
tribute and everything. But yeah, they also have an alternate album cover for this one. I don't have it here, but it's very similar to this, the alternate album cover. But anyway, yeah, this is just a really fun, and that's what gets me about Ugly Kid Joe is that they're really fun and really tongue in cheek. A lot of parodies in their song titles and album titles of just ripping off other things, and
Yeah.
I just have a good time listening to Ugly Kid Joe, and this is definitely one that to me, like for their comeback, they were really back with this one. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
All right, cool. Okay, so we're at my number five. So I'm going with the first like official Ugly Kid Joe album, America's Least Wanted. So this one is it's fun. I know it has some of the same songs as the EP, which I'll get to a little later. But it has Neighbor. That's a cool opening. Now I think like some of their earlier albums and EPs, they did this like comedy thrash type of sound. And there was another band, I don't know if you know them, called Scatterbrain. I remember I used to have the CD. I lost it over the years, but they did
I
this like
I've
you
heard the
have that.
name. I've heard the name Scatterbrain before, but I've never listened to any of their stuff.
Yeah, it's like comedy thrash. It's like this weird subgenre that kind of existed, but kind of like doesn't really exist anymore. But if you think
Okay.
of there's some other of the Joe songs, which I'll get to later, that kind of sound like that.
Okay.
But there was that neighbor. Then the next song, "Goddamn Devil." That's a fun. It's like a power ballad, almost like punk rock as well, but it's a parody of like the Satanic Panic. That was pretty fun. "Come Tomorrow," I like a cool bluesy song. "Busy Bee," acoustic country. "Don't Go," that's like glam-metal, and then the big songs, "Anything But You," "Cats in the Cradle," and "Madmen," which were songs that appeared on the EP, but they were put back. Actually, "Cats in the Cradle" wasn't on the EP, but "Anything But You" and "Madmen" were on the first EP. But it's a good like debut. I know they like their EP was popular, so they wanted to put out like a full album pretty quickly, and I thought it's a pretty decent album. So yeah, that's my number five.
Cool. Right on. My number four is going to be one that I thought I had a physical copy of, but this week I was running for my stuff and I don't think I actually have a physical copy of this album, which I'm going to have to rectify that. I'm going to have to get a physical copy. I'm going to have to search for it at a few thrift shops and record stores and whatnot. And if I can't find it, I'll order it online. But it's Heartbreak Station by Cinderella. Yeah, I love this album. The title track is awesome. Um, the whole I don't have the track listing in front of me, but the whole album has the a little bit of blues, a little bit of country vibes with the rock and roll, but it all works together for me. Um, and yeah, Heartbreak Station is a really good album. Man, I should have pulled up the track listing so I could pick some of my favorite tracks, but definitely the title track is there. And right now, for whatever reason, some of the names of the other songs are escaping me. But I love Heartbreak Station. It's a really really good album. So it is my number four.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that's interesting. So I'm just gonna kind of continue with that. I had the same number four, Heartbreak Station. So yeah, a little history with this one. So I was a Cinderella fan back in the day, and I bought this one back when it came out. That I don't still have it on the physical media anymore, but it got lost over the years. And yeah, it's this is what they kind of like moved more into that blues rock sound. I know with Long Cold Winter, they kind of went from the glam to like a more of a blues sound, but this one they really started to experiment a little more and did a lot more blues and country and acoustic, like you said. So yeah, I made some notes. I listened to some of the songs, so maybe they'll come back to you. Like the
Okay.
more things change, I was like hard rock and blues. Love's Got Me Doing Time. That was kind of like a funky song. The lead single, I remember this one, it was Shelter Me. Really good song. Blues rock has like gospel. That I remember that song very well. And then Heartbreak Station, that was how track you're talking about. Sick for the Cure. That's more of a throwback to glam metal. And One for Rock and Roll, more acoustic country. Dead Man's Road. That's a really good slow blues. Like that's like old like 1920s blues, like that type of sounds. So I mean, they kind of like got rid of like the electric guitars in that one. They just went all the way back with that. And Make Your Own Way, that's more like glam metal. That sounds like something that could have been on Long Cold Winters. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. This is a very good album. Yeah, that's my number four.
Cool. And you mentioned a lot of the songs I would have mentioned, but for whatever
Yeah,
reason, I didn't
yeah.
remember. But yeah, a lot of great stuff on that album. All right, my number three, my bronze medal, is gonna go to Cinderella Night Songs. And this one has the title track Night Songs, Shake Me, Nobody's Fool, Nothing for Nothing. Yeah, this entire album, Somebody Save Me is really good. Back Home Again. This is a fantastic album. I absolutely love this thing. Um, and yeah, it's my number three. It gets my bronze medal. Um, what more can I say? Very much a glam metal or hair metal album, and in the best way possible. And Cinderella is this album cements them as one of my favorite bands of all time. This and Heartbreak Station for sure. So
Nice.
I always take quality over quantity. So even if a band only has like two really great albums, sometimes that's enough to be like, yeah, I could listen to those two albums anytime, any place. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool. So we're on my number three. I'm going with the Ugly Kid Joe EP. And that's going to be the last of my Ugly Kid Joes for my ranking. So this is going to be my highest
Mhm.
of the Ugly Kid Joes.
The As
It's a
Ugly as
classic.
They Wanna Be.
Yeah, as ugly as I want to be. That's the EP.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, I know this one I did actually have when it came out. I remember having it on cassette, and because when I went back to listen to it, I remember the songs. Madman, really great opener. It's like hair metal. It kind of reminds me of like Extreme, and the lyrics are pretty funny. It's like a Disneyland shooter or something like that. Whiplash Liquor, that reminds me of that like comedy thrash. I mentioned the band Scatterbrain before. You should check that album out later. They only have two albums, but
Okay.
I think you'd like them. They're more like they're very like comedy tongue in cheek. Too Bad. That one I like the guitar. It reminds me of like Sammy Hagar era Van Halen. I like that one. Everything About You. That's their big song. So that's one everyone knows. Sweet Leaf. That's the Black Sabbath cover. Going into Fresh Country Club. That's kind of like a glam metal. And then at the end EP with this like short like 30-second song like called Heavy Metal, and I just like them playing really heavy. It's just fun. So it's a short EP, but it's fun, and I think like all the songs are good. So yeah, that's my number three. That's what the reason I want to be.
Okay, awesome. That's my number two. So that's my
Okay.
silver medal. Um, yeah, this it's funny that you mentioned having this one on cassette because so did I. Back in the day, I had this one
Yeah.
on cassette. Um, and I wore the cassette out, listening to it over and over again. I don't know what happened to it at one point, but when I started recollecting again, Ugly Kid Joe was one of the first bands, especially their first couple releases that I wanted to re-add to my collection. Um, but I absolutely love this entire EP, all 6 or 7 songs, I think. I think it's
Yeah.
technically 6 tracks on the CD, even though on the back they don't list track number 6. But track number 6 is heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's just that little 30-second long thing, I think it is, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is fantastic. Sweet Leaf, I believe, is a cover of Black Sabbath, if I'm not
Yeah. It is.
mistaken.
Yeah.
And then they throw in the little funky fresh country club thing. Um, but yeah, this I love every song on this, everything. And Madman, I mentioned I think in the last episode my killer songs list, like killer songs literally, and Madman is
Yeah.
definitely probably in my top 5
Yeah.
uh literal killer songs. Um, it might even be number 1 to be honest with you. It's always the first one that comes to mind when I think of that. It's a crazy song. I'm not gonna go we might get a cop or not a what do they call that? A community guideline strike if I actually read the lyrics to Madman.
Oh
But
yeah.
but um yeah, I love this EP. This is my favorite EP of all time. And also I believe it's, the best-selling EP of all time, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it was at one point.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's possible. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
remember it being very popular. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was the first one to reach a particular milestone that was like I don't know if it was like 50,000 or so many million or whatever it was, the first one to ever reach that milestone. And it might still be the best selling EP of all time. But anyway, I love this thing. So yeah. And we haven't talked at all yet about the album art, but I
Yeah.
love the Ugly Kid Joe mascot. And actually, one of my favorite album covers of all time is coming up as my number 1. But anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually funny because like in one of the later albums, like you show him like really like as he's older. Like I think it's on the 2015 album as him
Yeah.
on the cover.
And there's
But
also
okay, so
stuff like him coming back from the dead. He looks like
yeah,
a
something like that.
zombie
He's
and
like a
stuff.
zombie.
Yeah.
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 All right, cool. Okay, so we're at my top two, and my top two are going to be Cinderella albums, and I am a little biased with this band because they were one of the first metal bands I started listening to when I was a teenager. So these came out when I was in that like 16 to 18-year-old range. So, but my number two and my number one are really close. But my number two is going to be Night Songs. I mean, this is a great album. You have the title track, and this is just like more of like a glam metal, like before they started doing like the bluesy stuff. Actually, there's one blues song I get to that. But the title track, that's great. Shake Me, that's a single. Nobody's Fool, Power Ballad, another single. So I mean, just a great. Like the first three songs are awesome on Night Songs. Nothing for Nothing, it's cool glam metal. One Round for the Ride, another kind of reminds you of early Motley Crue. Head on Wheel, this fun song. Somebody Saved Me, that was another single. And In From the Outside, that one is a little more like blues rock. That one kind of sounds like it could have been a Long Cold Winter. And Push Push, that's fun. Back Home Again, one of the heaviest songs. So this one is like different than the other three, but I think it's like one of the best like debuts from any of the glam metal bands. So that's my number two, Night Songs.
Right on. Right on. Okay, it's time for my number 1, my gold medal. Now this one, I'm curious. I don't know when you look these up. Which album covers did you get for this one?
I only I don't remember the one on the right. I only remember the Statue of Liberty, and that's the
Okay,
one that I listened to on streaming. But I don't never saw the other album cover. Man.
okay. So this album cover, which I also have here. This album cover is the original one that I saw personally, the first one I was introduced to. But this
Okay.
is actually the censored version of the album cover, which like Walmart and some other retailers and stuff refused to sell the original album cover. So basically, they had the drawing, and because they got censored, what they did was they did this album cover where they have tape over his mouth. He's all tied up with a rope. He's got his finger taped down so he can't flip anybody off. He's got the ball and chain. And so basically they're mocking the fact that their original album cover got censored. Uh
Why was it the original was censored? Why? Because of the middle finger? Is that why?
yeah, so the original album cover here, if you notice, he's flipping people off with his hand. He's
Oh, in
holding
the
a
Statue of Liberty.
he's
Yeah.
holding he's holding a porno magazine
Oh, I never noticed
instead
that
of a
detail.
Bible. Yeah. And so that's why it got censored, is because he's flipping people off and holding a porn magazine. It's called Skin if you look closely. I don't know how closely you can see it there.
Oh, yeah, I can see now. Yeah.
And also probably because it may be considered like anti-American or whatever with the Statue of Liberty and the
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
yeah. So America's least wanted. Um, but yeah, I actually think I have two copies of each on CD, two copies of
Cool.
each album cover on CD, just because I happen to get in like buy in bulk. I bought some lots and they came with it. But anyway, I love the fact that I have it on cassette tape too. Um,
Yeah.
and I special bought this with this one has um the big vinyl, and then the actual picture disc looks like this on the inside. It has the other album cover on the picture disc, but it
Yeah.
has this album cover for the actual box of the vinyl. So this was a really fun buy. Um, this is actually a two-discer because with the picture disc and everything, they couldn't fit it all on one album and everything. But um, this is yeah, one of my favorite albums of all time for sure. Love this. And um yeah, the Ugly Kid Joe mascot, and like I said, he's probably my favorite mascot of all time for any band ever. It's definitely one of my favorite album covers of all time. And um uh yeah. Oh, I should talk about the songs.
Yeah.
Neighbor is a mix of it's actually incorporates elements of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood theme song.
Oh, cool.
Um,
I didn't pick that up. Cool.
yeah. Um, Won't you be my neighbor? Um, uh, yeah, there's so much stuff here. This is a perfect album. I love Mr. Record Man, the final song on the album. That's one where it's um, kind of a critique of the record industry. I already mentioned Madman. Everything About You is like a great breakup song. Um, uh, Same Side is probably the only actually like serious song on the album. And the rest are more tongue in cheek, in my opinion. Um, or Cats in the Cradle gets pretty serious too, but that's a cover. So Damn Cool is awesome. Yeah, everything about this album is awesome, and um, it's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. That's why it's my number one. And to me, especially since I was introduced to this album cover first, and I was like, "What is going on there with the chain and the
Yeah.
rope and the ball and chain and everything?" I think it's really cool, but I've also come to love the original album cover as well. So I love both of them. So yeah, that's my number one.
All right, cool. Okay, so my number one, it's gonna be Cinderella's Long Cold Winter. Again, this one came out in 1988, and one of the first, I think this was actually the first one that I bought from Cinderella because it was like 1988 was the year I was really getting into just heavy metal, hard rock, and that stuff. And I was buying a lot of music back then. So this one, I had it on cassette. I used to listen to it all the time, and I just really like the first like couple of songs. The Bad Seamstress Blues Falling Apart Seams. That's a really great intro. Gypsy Road. That was one of the singles. That's a great song. Don't know what you got till it's gone. That's a Power Bound, another single. Last Mile, Second Wind is good. Long Cold Winter, blues rock. Then pretty much if you don't like it, Coming Home, Fire and Ice. I like that one again. And Take Me Back. That one has some more of that like blues slide guitar. So many songs are moving into that like blues sound where when they released the next one, which would be the Heartbreak Station, they would like go really into that blues sound. But this is kind of like a combination of night songs with that glam and the Heartbreak Station where it's like more blues. So it's kind of like a mix of those two. And it's like Long Cold Winter. It has like a very like a cold vibe, the white album cover. So again, I like that's my number one. And okay, so that's it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe to Dragonfire. He'll be linked to this. So we do this as a collaboration. So his channel should be linked to this video. And see you all in the next one.